Academy due to unforeseen circumstances, even as High Court reserves order on the film. With repeated attacks on minorities, Hindus continue to live in fear in Dhaka. CNN News 18 brings you the stories of suffering. Despite Chief Minister Fadnavis' strong objections, the Ambernath alliance holds firm as the Thane collector recognizes the BJP Congress group as the largest faction. Donald Trump backs Russia sanctions bill, proposing 500% tariffs, targets India, China and Brazil over oil purchases. US President Trump says Venezuela will purchase only American products with oil deal revenue as US seizes 2 tankers. Now, this is the latest that we're tracking for you. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham claims that the US President Donald Trump greenlit the bipartisan Russia sanctions bill. The bill that is set to move forward in Congress targets countries that do business with Russia. Graham said that he has been working on the law with several Republicans and Democrats for months now, and if passed, it would impose sanctions and heavy tariffs on countries which are in business with Russia, including buyers of Moscow's energy, including India, China and Brazil. So this is the latest that we're getting for you right now. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham claiming that the US President Donald Trump greenlit this bipartisan Russia sanctions bill. For more on this, we have Siddhant Mishra with us. Siddhant, what can you tell us?
That's right. So this bill was proposed long back. And in fact, this bill will, if becomes an act, will give powers to the US president to impose tariffs and secondary sanctions on the countries doing trade with Russia. Now, already President Trump has imposed sanctions, tariffs on countries like India and for buying Russian crude. So this bill, if turns into an act, and if House approves this bill, then President of the United States will officially be having a power to impose tariffs and secondary sanctions on the countries doing trade with Russia. Now, the idea behind this bill is that Ukraine is ready to offer concessions to the Russia, but Russia is not ready to come to the tables. So the only option left with the US government to put pressure on Russia is by imposing tariffs and secondary sanctions on the countries which are doing trade with Russia, countries like India, countries like China, etc. So now President Trump has given green signal to this bill. Perhaps, as per the reports, this bill can be put up for voting by early next week. This is what U.S. media is reporting.
Right.
It's a bipartisan bill. Perhaps both the Democrats and Republicans have spoken in favor of this bill. So let's see whether this bill gets passed by the House majority and becomes an act in the United States. But definitely this bill will give powers to the US president to hike or to impose tariff on any other country by 500%.
Right. Siddhant, when we talk about US President Donald Trump, now this is not the first time we're seeing him take this sort of my way or the highway approach when it comes to India as well. When we talk about tariffs, that is something that's been a bone of contention between the two nations. Also, let's just see it in light of what's happening with Venezuela as well, which has handed over up to 50 million barrels or will be turning over up to 50 million barrels of oil to the United States. You know, we just have to wait and watch what sort of a pressure the US president next tries to build on India when it comes to India prioritizing its national interests and purchase of oil.
Well, that's right. In fact, look, from the very beginning, President Trump has been saying that he is going to take action against the countries buying Russian crude, doing trade with Russia. Now, India has been one of the largest importers of Russian crude in last few years, especially after 2022. Perhaps US has been making this accusation that India and countries like India are fueling Putin's war machinery, etc., etc. All those accusations were made by the US government. Already, India has been slapped with 25% additional tariff for buying Russian crude. So, if this bill turns into an act, if House approves and votes in favor of this bill, then United States could impose tariff up to 500% on countries doing business with India. Definitely, we are still awaiting response from these countries, but all we know is that this bill could get approved by the House by early next week. That is the time when this bill will be tabled in the House, and after which this bill, if it turns into an act, will give powers to the United States.
All right. Well, Siddhant, thank you so much for bringing us the latest on that. Of course, we'll continue to track all developments on that front closely. Let's shift our focus now onto the other developments that we're tracking for you right now. After financial year 2026, GDP growth is expected to be 7.4%. Prime Minister Modi tweeted saying that India's reform express continues to gain momentum, adds that this is powered by the NDA government's comprehensive investment push and demand-led policies. So for more on this, we have Pallavi Ghosh with us. Pallavi, what can you tell us?
Well, and this is supposed to be a huge boost for the Indian economy, especially ahead of the general budget, which is going to be presented on 1st February. It talks about 7.4% in the GDP growth. So there are multiple factors which are believed to be responsible for this. First of all, an increase in the sales, the manufacturing sector. There has been an upswing as far as the services sector is concerned. And there are many flagship schemes of the government. For example, as far as manufacturing is concerned, investments into the small sectors. And, because of the tax cuts, because of the tax slabs being changed, all of these are reasons enough why people want to go out and purchase, especially also with the GST slab. So when people purchase more, it creates a cycle of demand and supply. And with that cycle being robust, it has a deep impact on the GDP and also our trade. I mean, our exports have increased. Imports in many tech sectors have also been cut down.
All right. Well, Pallavi, thank you so much for your insights on this. Now, in a major setback for Vijay starrer Janagan, the production in its statement announced the postponement of the movie's release. This after the Madras High Court reserved its order in the plea filed by KVN Productions against the non-issuance of the Central Board of Film Certification certificate for the political actioner. Court said that orders will most likely be pronounced on the 9th of January morning, even as shows across several theatres had already been booked. Marking the actor's last film before his full-fledged political entry, Janagan is one of the most anticipated Indian movies of the year, on which both stakeholders and fans have pinned much hope. The court's decision, it's dealt a blow to all of them. Now, during the hearing, the Additional Solicitor General pointed out that the board's chairperson can order a review even after the examining committee has reviewed the movie. The court, meanwhile, noted that once the chairperson decided to review, the board should have informed the movie's makers not to proceed with the changes previously instructed, to which the ASG replied that the board had instructed the regional office to put the process on hold and further said that the movie must be reviewed by a fresh committee, adding that the person who raised objections is a member of the board as well. And in light of this, we're also getting some breaking information for you right now. Congress MP Manikam Tagore comes out in support of actor Vijay, claims that the censor board is being used to control cinema and ideas, and has alleged BJP RSS propaganda films are being promoted, dissenting voices are being targeted. This is the claim that he is making. He's saying that the ED, the CBI, the IT are used to intimidate critics. Has also warned that Article 19(1) Section A, freedom of expression, is under threat, and is saying that cinema needs constitutional protection, not political clearance. So this is where things stand when it comes to Vijay's last film before his political pivot, Janagan. For more on this, we have Purnima live with us. Purnima, what can you tell us?
Well, Jananayagan will not hit the silver screens on the 9th of Jan as per the schedule because the orders have not been listed for today, likely to come out tomorrow, but tomorrow is the release date. So earlier last evening, Malaysia, Singapore had made that announcement that the movie will not release in Malaysia and Singapore. But later at night, at around 10:20 p.m., the makers of Jananayagan had issued a statement that they regret to inform that the movie will not release on the 9th of Jan, and they will get back with the release date at a later stage because the matter is still pending before court. If they do not get a verdict in their favor, then they have to go for an appeal. So it's going to be a long road ahead for the makers of Jananayagan, which is why they did not give the release date as of now. But politics over Jananayagan yet to receive the censor certificate, that continues to escalate. Now, Congress comes out in support of the TVK leader and links the entire postponement of the certificate that the movie is yet to receive to the BJP. So we could expect more reactions either in favor of TVK or against the TVK chief. So all eyes on politics that now follows the postponement of the movie Jananayagan.
Right, of course, as you mentioned, Purnima, politics has blown out full-fledged over this issue as well. There, Congress MP Manikam Tagore also coming out in support of actor Vijay, claiming that the censor board is in fact being used to control cinema and ideas. When we talk about this particular film, what are some of the issues here?
The movie was reviewed on the 19th of December. On the 21st of December, the censor board got back to the makers of Jananayagan with certain cuts. And when the case came up for hearing 2 days ago, the CBFC had informed the Madras High Court that they received a complaint about certain dialogues hurting the religious sentiments. They were asked to produce a complaint copy yesterday. And the case was heard. Both sides argued. The CBFC board, of course, said that it is yet to be reviewed and it has to be reviewed. And the question posed by the Madras court was why did they not inform the makers, because the makers had already planned a release on the 9th of Jan. Why wasn't it communicated to them that they could wait before they edit the copy? But now Congress has come out, the first party to come out in support of TVK. Saying that it's deliberately not given, keeping in mind Vijay's political debut in the state, and allegedly links this to that of the BJP's role.
Right. Now, if you were to talk about, of course, actor Vijay's pivot to politics completely, and this is the last film before that, is it going to have any sort of implications on that front as well?
Well, we'll have to see how the entire development now pans out. Remember, there have been speculations about TVK Congress alliance being discussed between both the parties. This at a time when the DMK and Congress have on the record said that the alliance is intact, but several leaders, including Manikam Tagore, have sort of said that it should not just be sharing of seats, but sharing of power as well. And there have been speculations about how Congress may even look at the possibility of joining hands with the TVK. Now, Congress being the first party to come out in support of Vijay after his movie release has been postponed. Interesting developments in the political front as well. We'll now have to see how these entire developments pan out and how alliances are formed as far as TVK is concerned, because TVK so far has only said that they will accept any party that accepts Vijay as a chief ministerial candidate. They've neither denied nor confirmed any sort of discussions with the Congress. Now, Congress leaders are also split. There's infighting within the Congress in Tamil Nadu. Some of them feel that going with the TVK would help them get more seats and would also help them share power if they are voted to power. So interesting developments in terms of how alliances are going to shape in the state ahead of the 2026 state assembly polls.
Right. Now, of course, we are given to understand that the Madras High Court had reserved its order in this plea that was filed by the KVN production against the non-issuance of Central Board of Film Certificate for this as well. When we talk about this political actioner, and of course, we're talking about actor Vijay's debut into politics in the state as well, there have been a lot of issues in his entire campaign trail. If we were to just talk about it, whether it's the Karur stampede, whether it's this particular issue right now, it's been marred by a lot of controversies, a lot of issues. How is that looking for him in the state, and how is it being received by the people? Or do you think he commands enough clout for the people to look beyond this?
He indeed has a mass fan following, which is why a lot of them have expressed regret that Janagan movie is not releasing tomorrow. But interesting because CBI has also summoned Vijay. CBI has in fact asked TVK chief Vijay to appear before it in the national capital on the 12th of January, which is Monday. And this comes at a time when sources from the TVK say that they are because they are against joining the NDA alliance on board, they are being targeted. But this is something that they've said off the record. On the record, TVK maintains that they are ready to form an alliance with any party that accepts Vijay as the chief ministerial candidate. We'll now have to wait and see how these developments pan out. As far as people of Tamil Nadu are concerned, they are waiting and watching. Only in May 2026, we will know whether whether Vijay will be a factor at all. But at the moment, he enjoys a mass fan following, just like how Rajnikant does, which is why all eyes on how much vote share will TVK get, because everywhere he goes, there's been a huge fan following. And the reason why the Karur Stampede happened is because Vijay, they say DMK and the Tamil Nadu government say he came 7 hours late, and that led to overcrowding at the Karur venue, which resulted in the stampede. CBI has summoned Vijay. All eyes on whether he will be going and appearing before the CBI. So all those interesting developments are there, but we'll have to wait and see how TVK is able to bring together a strong alliance for the 2026 state assembly polls, and whether he will be able to rope in more parties, smaller parties. Now, yesterday, PMK had joined the AIADMK and the NDA on board. Now, we'll have to wait and see whether Vijay Khan's DMDK, whether they will be joining the NDA or TVK. So all eyes on that as well, and how Congress TVK discussions pan out. These are some of the interesting things to look forward to over the next couple of weeks.
Right, Poonama, now when we talk about the fans who'd already booked the tickets for Janagan, also there were lots of morning shows which were booked for this film. What happens on that front now that the release has been delayed?
Well, they will, in places where they've already opened, where there were pre-bookings for Janagan, especially in other countries, including Malaysia and Singapore, they will get a refund. But many fans are upset because they were looking forward to it. Many of them, in fact, some of them blamed the DMK, some of them blamed the BJP, DMK, because the DMK family is also now a part of this Parashakti film that's releasing tomorrow. Some of the things that came out from the Parashakti